If you're running anything on the cloud, you definitely know the feeling. The speed and agility are amazing, but then the bills arrive. And for a lot of companies, those cloud costs are just spiraling out of control. So what's the solution? Well, it's this really powerful one-two punch of a practice called FinOps and the raw intelligence of AI. Let's break down how this is a total game changer.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start by looking at the cloud cost crisis to see just how big this problem is. Then we'll talk about the shift from just reacting to fires to building a real FinOps culture. After that, we'll dive into the AI toolkit that's making all of this possible, see how it actually works, and finally look at the proactive future this combo unlocks. So let's kick things off with the core problem. You see, the cloud promised us ultimate flexibility, but what it also delivered was this incredible financial complexity. And frankly, it's left a lot of businesses caught in a storm of spending they never saw coming. And the sheer scale of the waste is, well, it's staggering. Get this. Studies from folks like Cloud Health and Flexera show that nearly a third, 32% of all cloud spending is completely wasted, just gone. That's a huge amount of money that should be funding innovation, but is just leaking right out of the budget. Which leads you to ask the obvious question, right? How did we get here? Why is it so incredibly hard to get a handle on these costs when we're supposed to have more data and control than ever before? Well, the biggest reason is that the cloud completely flipped the script on how we pay for things. We went from the old school way, buying servers, a predictable capital expense, to this new pay-as-you-go model, which is an operational expense that changes all the time. Our old budgeting methods just couldn't keep up. You add to that the insane complexity of modern cloud setups and a serious lack of real-time visibility, and you've got a perfect recipe for budget disaster. To fight this, a totally new approach was needed. We're not just talking about a new tool or another dashboard, but a whole new way of thinking about the economics of the cloud. And that's exactly where FinOps comes into the picture. This image just illustrates the journey perfectly. In the early days, almost every company went through cloud shock, that heart-stopping moment when the first massive, unexpected bill hits. The immediate response was reactive, right? Just IT teams scrambling to put out fires. But over time, the smart companies evolved to FinOps, a much more mature, collaborative, and proactive way to handle cloud spending. So what is FinOps exactly? The FinOps Foundation defines it perfectly. It's not just a job for the finance team or the ops team, it's a cultural practice. It's about bringing technology, finance, and business teams to the same table. The whole goal is shared accountability, making everyone aware of the cost of their decisions, and most importantly, tying every dollar of cloud spend back to actual business value. And you can really see the night and day difference when you put them side by side. The old way was all about being reactive. You wait for the bill, you do some manual analysis, and cost management is just some IT problem. FinOps flips that on its head. It is proactive, it is driven by real-time data, and it's built on a culture of shared accountability that stretches across the entire organization. Now, FinOps gives us the framework, the culture, the playbook, but to truly tame the complexity of the modern cloud, it needs a serious power-up, a force multiplier, and that force is, you guessed it, artificial intelligence. I absolutely love this analogy because it just clicks. Think of FinOps as the operating system on your computer. It provides the structure and the rules for how everything works together. Well, AI is the brilliant engine that runs on top of that OS. It automates the hard stuff, it spots patterns no human ever could, and it makes the entire system smarter and way more efficient. And hey, this isn't just a nice idea. We've got the hard data to back it up. Check this out. Machine learning can pinpoint cost-saving opportunities with nearly 90% precision. Predictive analytics can forecast your spending with over 91% accuracy. And deep learning can boost your resource efficiency by more than 34%. These are real, measurable, massive improvements. Okay, so we know AI is incredibly powerful. But how does it actually work when you put it into a FinOps practice? Let's look at the specific ways it gets in there to cut costs and crank up efficiency. AI-powered FinOps basically has 4 superpowers. First, predictive forecasting. It sees the future, anticipating your spending so you can stop budget overruns before they happen. Second, anomaly detection. It spots weird spending spikes the second they occur. Third, automated right-sizing. It analyzes usage and gets rid of all those over-provisioned resources you're paying for but not using. And finally, dynamic resource allocation. It automatically scales your capacity up or down to perfectly match demand. And we're seeing this in the real world with some of the biggest companies out there. AT&T, for example, uses AI analytics to manage its 5G network, which improves efficiency and the customer experience. Over at Cisco, they use AI to actually predict hardware failures before they happen, which prevents super expensive downtime. It's all about being proactive. The bottom line is pretty clear. The financial impact is huge, and it's happening across all kinds of industries. Studies have shown that with AI-enabled FinOps, financial services firms are seeing average cost reductions of over 31%. Tech companies are right behind them at nearly 29%, and even healthcare is saving over 26%. This stuff just plain works.
So, all of this leads us to the ultimate goal, because it's not just about cutting costs anymore. It's about building a truly proactive system that squeezes intelligent business value out of every single dollar you invest in the cloud.
But how do you actually get there? Well, success really boils down to three key things. First, you have to build a cost-aware culture where everyone, engineers, finance, business leaders, is on the same page. Second, you've got to align your cloud metrics with actual business outcomes. Don't just track total spend, track cost per customer or cost per transaction. And third, you have to move to real-time visibility. Forget the monthly report. You need continuous live monitoring. This quote from the European Journal of Computer Science and IT it nails it. This transformation is a fundamental shift. It's a whole new way of thinking that stops treating the cloud like a utility bill and starts managing it like a strategic asset that's crucial for moving the business forward.
And that leaves us all with one final question to think about. In this new era, just managing costs isn't good enough anymore. The real challenge and the much bigger opportunity is to use these incredible tools to build intelligent, lasting value from every dollar you invest in the cloud.